Hello and welcome back to My Mom's Basement with Robbie Fox. I am here with Eddie Kingston ahead of this awesome Arthur Ashe show that's going to happen AEW in Queens. I can't wait, Eddie. I just watched your video about this Arthur Ashe show in the lead up. I got goosebumps on my goosebumps. I can't wait to see you and Mox tear it up. I used to actually watch you back in the Rahway Rec Center in like 2014, 2015, like wrestling Dan Moff and Mario Bocara and all those matches. So I'm really
Wow.
excited, man. I go back. I'm a big time Eddie Kingston fan. How are you?
I'm good, man. Speaking about mom's basement, I'm in my mother's house. I came to New York early, you know what I mean, to get my neck checked out, get it all loosened up, train with Homicide and Amazing Red a little bit
Oh, nice.
to see what, just to stay up on things because those dudes kick my ass, man.
How long ago was it that you and Mox actually met?
2000, I like to say 8 or 9. Yeah.
And whose idea was it to pair you in AEW?
Mox, Mox and Tony. That was their idea. You know what I mean? I just one day I was sitting there and they go, "Hey, we got this idea," and I went, whatever you guys want to do." You know what I mean? It took me forever to get on with a major company, so I'm just like, "Hey, whatever y'all want to do, we'll make it work. Let's go." You know what I mean? I'm here to do my job.
I mean, you guys really have made it work. It's so organic, and I assume it's because you guys have known each other, right? Like when you're in the ring tomorrow in front of 19,000 people, they're going crazy for you. That's a very real moment that you really only get in professional
Yeah,
wrestling, right?
yeah. It's when you put it like that, it's nerve wracking. But I'll be in the zone. But I'll trust me, I'll be in the zone. There'll be nothing running through my head but fighting. But yeah, it's natural with me and Mox because that's how we are in real life. Like if you see us hanging out, that's how we are. He's the quiet one, very stoic, and I'm the one busting his balls. You know what I mean? Trying to make him laugh in front of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And try to loosen him up.
So another thing I'd love to talk about is your match with Miro. I really loved it on the All In pay-per-view. It was so
Thank you.
good. What was it like opening the show in front of that crowd? Because we all knew that crowd was going to be maybe the hottest of the year in professional wrestling between the Punk return, between the surprises at the end, between the Ruby Soho
Yeah,
debut. There were so many surprises, even Suzuki coming out. But what was it like kicking things off?
man. All I can tell you is, so we have these ring steps that go up into the gorilla position, and then you know what I mean. We go out, but I never run them. I just walk up them and I do my thing. I was so pumped up that I ran up those steps, and then I just remember going down to the ring, and it was like I just beeline to the ring because I was so pumped up and I was
Yeah.
ready to go, and I wanted to fight Miro. I don't remember the match at all because I kind of just went into the zone,
Does that
and that
happen
was it.
often?
You know what I mean? It's happened a couple times. You know what I mean? For big matches, I guess for me that I consider big matches, and just I just entered this zone, and that's it. I'm not there anymore. It's full. It's full Eddie Kingston. There's nothing else.
Was there any inspiration for the entire finishing sequence with the turnbuckle and Bryce? Because I thought it was so well executed and piece by piece, it was flawless, really.
It wasn't flawless. I'm the hardest. I'm hard on myself when it comes to my matches. So no, it wasn't flawless. But no, the whole idea was just trying to tell a good story in the ring. You know what I mean? And everyone knows me. When I get in that ring, I'm gonna put pressure on you. I'm gonna fight you. That's my style. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I was trained in lucha. I was able enough to train with probably the greatest luchador teacher, Jorge Rivera Skida. I was fortunate enough to train with some of the British guys who knew, they mean their world of sport, and also me just asking questions about Japanese wrestling and their psychology and their mental in the ring. I was able to, pick up on that. But at the end of the day, I can learn all that stuff, but I'd rather just smack you and chop you and suplex you.
I would love to talk about your love of Japanese wrestling and their psychology and even like the different styles you've trained in. When you go and wrestle in Japan, do you apply a completely new psychology to every match? Or is it just a different style, same psychology, universal throughout professional wrestling?
To me, in my opinion, it's feelings are feelings, emotions are emotions. It doesn't matter what country you're from or what your culture is. Emotions are emotions. You know what I mean? So if you tell the right story and the right emotional story through combat, everybody will get it. It doesn't matter what country you're in or what culture you're in. This is about emotion. We sell emotion. We sell fighting. We don't sell something else. You know what I mean? Professional wrestling is fighting. It's wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it.
And what made you gravitate so much towards the Japanese style and that 90s four pillars era? Like, what made you love that so much?
Well, it all started. I got to give the shot. I know everyone knows I love the four pillars, and Kenta Kobashi is my hero, and Toshiada Kawada is the guy who Kawada's more. I'm more Kawada inside. Like I have that spirit when I'm in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I got to give credit first off to the three musketeers of New Japan Pro Wrestling: Keiji Muto, Shinji Hashimoto, and Masahiro Chono as the first guys to get me into Japanese wrestling. And that was because I saw the Great Muta in 1989 in NWA, and that was it. I was hooked. And then I saw Masahiro Chono in 1992 for WCW. And I just remember when he did the STF, Jim Ross lost his mind and was like, that was taught to him by Lou Thez, and it's the greatest submission in wrestling history. And I was like, yeah, it is, I guess. You know, Jim Ross says it is, and it's Lou Thez, bro. It gotta be, you know? But because of them, I bought tapes, anything with Japan. I didn't know the difference between All Japan, New Japan, anything. And then I saw Kobashi and Kawada in 1995, I think in Osaka. They went 60 minutes. And what gravitated me towards that style, it was so physical that all the people who said, you know, pro wrestling's acting or pro wrestling's fake, you know, that evil word, I would just be like, watch this. Tell me that shit don't hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tell me that dude chopping you in your chest or forearming in your face or kicking you in your face doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? So that's what definitely attracted me to that style more, was the physicality of it. You
How
know
would
what I
you
mean?
find tapes back in the day? Was it difficult?
Oh no, I would tape trade. It was definitely dope because I would tape trade and then get the tapes and hope that the tracking was right. For all the youngins who don't know, a VHS tape would come, you put it in, and you will hope to God that it's the tape you ordered or traded for. You will hope to God that it wasn't grainy, or you didn't have to mess with little tracking dial to try to get that line somewhere. You know what I mean? That was probably the most difficult thing. Or if you tape trade and you sent it to the guy, then he didn't send you nothing back. Yeah, that was always fun.
The tape
You know what I mean?
scammers.
Also, wrestling fans, they always come together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like at school, I was a knucklehead, hung out with certain people, but I also hung out with wrestling fans. I didn't have a core group. I went around. You know what I mean? I hung out with whoever made me feel good that day, didn't piss me off that day. And you know, I had friends who were wrestling fans, and they would be like, "Yo, I got this tape from so and so, and it's the best of Japan '96." And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, man, let me check that out." And then you borrow it, and you send it to your next friend. You know what I mean? It's a little community, you know?
Yeah.
So like, to me, to see how big wrestling is now from when I was a kid, when it was just this little secret community, and only certain guys knew about like Japanese wrestling and other stuff, it's weird now to see how big it is.
Well, now that all of that stuff is so easily accessible with the internet, like what would you recommend to who maybe aren't into that stuff that want to get into it? Do you have a specific match or something that you could be like, yeah, check that out on YouTube?
Well, for anybody with the New Japan account,
yep,
I say I know some fans who love New Japan are gonna hate me for this, but I have a special place for this match in my heart. It's Chono versus Keiji Muto, 1991 G1 Climax. I remember watching that and going, first I saw it and went, oh, I know these guys. You know what I mean? And then I just was like, just took it aback by everything. The surroundings, the style. Masahiro Chono's never quit, never fight. Muto's athleticism, doing moonsaults. And, you know, at the time, you know, now we see guys do triple, quadruple moonsaults. You know what I mean? But at the time, we didn't see a moonsault in the States a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So seeing that, so that's definitely the New Japan thing. Also, just type in Walking the King's Road on YouTube, and my man Joseph will break down all the All Japan matches and how it went from Ricky Dozan to Giant Baba to the Four Pillars. You know what I mean? And he'll break that all down. Then you can look up the matches once he breaks it down.
Yeah, you get the history.
I think he's doing. Yes, I thank him all the time for putting that out there because I would watch the matches when I was younger, not knowing anything. Then I would go on AOL. Yes, guys, AOL with the dial-up. You know what I mean? It would take forever. But I would go on the message boards and type in, you know, what is this? Why did they do that stuff in the match? You know what I mean? What's the story? What's besides watching the technique? So, you know what I mean? I always wanted to be a wrestler. Watching the technique, of course, you have to watch first. Then you can get into the why. You know what I mean? And why does Misawa and Kawada not get along? How is Kobashi now all of a sudden Misawa's tag partner? You know what I mean? And why did Misawa get the push when Tenryu left? You know what I mean? All this stuff, you know, and I'm a firm believer in if you're going to get into any business, doesn't matter what it is, any business you get into, you should learn the history of that business. You know what I mean? So when I got into All Japan, I was the first, like, who trained Giant Baba? And then I found out Ricky Dozan trained Baba and Inoki. And then I found out when Ricky Dozan died that Baba and Inoki split off. And then the difference between strong style kind of method and thinking and psychology with King's Road method and psychology. And I broke it out. I was able to find things and look it up. You know what I mean? That's why I say you got to learn the history. So when some young guys go, there was a young guy, I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to embarrass you. He's a good kid, though. At AEW, I was like, all right, man, so what's your style? Before I had to fight him. Before we had to fight someone else. What's your style, dog? You know, he's new. I just want to check him out. And he goes, oh, you know, you may think I'm a mark, but I like strong style, you know. And I went, no, you're a mark. Tell me about strong style. I'm that guy. You know what I mean? I'll bust you. I'll be like, tell me about it. Tell me the. And he just stood there, and I was like, we'll talk later. He's a good kid, so I was like, we'll talk later. I'll try to pass some of the knowledge I know on to you. You know what I mean? So you get it. So you understand why it's done a certain way. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of a hipster in that sense with New Japan.
I'm with you. When it comes to like music, especially, you see someone wearing a band tee and you're like, you don't know one of their songs, man. Like, yeah, I'm with you. You get that little feeling.
I'm the same. I'm the same way with pro wrestling. So I'm like, do you even know what the Three Musketeers are? Who trained Inoki? You know what I mean? What's Inoki? And like, I get into it, and then I go, whoa, I gotta back up. What am I doing? I'm a grown man. Why am I doing this? But it's the passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true. It's the passion of. When guys say they love something that I love, like Japanese professional, you know, pro wrestling, I want them to know. Mm-hmm. I'm not just busting their balls just to bust their balls to be an asshole. I want them to know the history of it. You know, I want them to appreciate where it came from, and then they can, you know, help or watch it, see where it's going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was your first time in Japan like?
My only time in Japan was for Osaka Pro in September of 2011. And I didn't want to leave. I did not want to leave Osaka. I wanted to stay. I wanted to help. I was there with Kodige, who's now with Noah, Tadasuke, who's now with Noah, and Harada, who's now also with Noah. And I had a blast. It was everything I ever wanted. I wrestled every day. It was amazing. It was everything I wanted and more. It blew away everything. I was there with Ultimate Spider Jr. What's up, babe? If he hears this, big shout out. You know what I mean? So it was definitely, it was a dream. It really was a dream. And it was bigger than what I thought it would be. I didn't want to leave. I got to the airport and I was trying to figure out a way how I could stay and be a freelancer in Japan. And they were like, no.
Was there anything about it that was completely different than you had envisioned for, you know, being a fan all these years? No?
No, everything was what I envisioned. You know what I mean? Everything was, and like I was just blown away. And I was only in Osaka, and Osaka's a beautiful place. You know what I mean? And I was just trying everything. I was eating all the food. I was trying to get, you know, the experience. You know what I mean? Because this is what I wanted. And a friend of mine, Ricky Reyes, hit me up before. An Amazing Red hit me up before I flew out. and Homicide, can't leave him out, my mentor. And they basically all said, hey, man, remember, Hanson, Brody, Dr. Death, Terry Gordy, all these Americans are taking the same trip you're taking right now. And I was like, wow, that blew my mind. You know what I mean? I'm on the plane like, oh, man, let's go. Like I just wanted to hurry up. You know what I mean? And I hate flying. But I was on that plane dancing, like just ready to go with Fire Ant and Green Ant. And they're just standing there like, yo, calm down. Because they've never seen me like that.
You mentioned October 12th will be 20 years for you in professional wrestling in that video. What can a fan come up to you and bring up that you're like, oh my God, like, you know, that actually excites you about your own career?
Nothing. So I talk about mental health a lot. Yeah. And one of the things with my mental is that I never think I'm good enough. You know what I mean? I always think things can be better, almost to a point where it hurts me. You know what I mean? I do it too much. It's good to have that edge, but sometimes I do it too much. So when people tell me, hey, I saw this was great that you did whatever years ago, and I'm like, eh. And then I get my balls by my girl, by my parents, by my close friends that are very rare, my very close friends. And man, just take it in. Just take it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was very open on another interview after the pay-per-view with Miro. I got a lot of attention from the match, and I had a panic attack that night because I didn't like the attention. Because I don't see myself as this big Eddie Kingston on fucking TV, TNT. No, I'm a pro wrestler. It's all I ever wanted to do. That's it. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not an actor. I'm not anything. I'm just me. And I'm just a pro wrestler, man. And this is what I always wanted to do, and this is what I fought for. I was talking to Ortiz last night, and I was like, man, I spent all my 20s in pro wrestling, and now soon all my 30s in pro wrestling. This is what I love. So, you know what I mean? That's something I got to work on, accepting stuff, but that's my thing. But when people bring up, like, you brought up Rollway, I was like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? Or if someone brings up Allentown or little shows like that, I'm like, really? You remember that? And they're like, oh, you wrestled this person. I'm like, I don't remember that at all. You know what I mean? But it's always good, man. It's good when you have people who've been following. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. And then I get kind of like, you know, watch somebody else now. Watch guys I watched who are better, you know? Those are the guys that I'm trying to, I don't want to be, again, Kenta Kobashi's my hero. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, the Four Pillars, the Three Musketeers. Those are my heroes. I don't want to be like them. I want to be better. Now, I may never be better than them, but that's the goal. You know what I mean? That's the goal. And that's why I tell people watch them instead of watching me.
Well, I appreciate you being open and about the mental health and the panic attacks and all that. As someone who suffers from panic attacks and anxiety attacks myself, like, it makes it easier to talk about when people like you are going out and talking about it. Like Eddie Kingston, the tough guy, talking about it makes it a lot easier for the My Mom's Basement guy to talk about it. You know what I mean?
I totally get that. See, I never had that problem because growing up the way I grew up, it wasn't bad, but I saw things and I heard things. And my parents were always very open with me. They never wanted to hide anything, or they never took anything as being shameful. You know what I mean? They never thought trying to get help to better your life was wrong. You know, and they tried to instill that in me. So when I talk about my mental health issues, or when I talk about me on Zoloft, you know what I mean? I say it in promos. I take Zoloft so I don't kill everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, people are like, oh man, thank you so much for saying that. I'm like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, no, I get it too, because I talk about it and some people say that to me, and I get it. It's weird, but it really does like make a big difference.
Yeah, and you know what? If that helps people with me talking, good. I'd rather be known for helping people with whatever, to open up and for that will make me feel better than wrestling. Trust me. I would love to still be world champion. Don't get it twisted. But that's the goal. But at the end of the day, if that doesn't happen, it will. But if it, you know, something crazy happens where it doesn't, if I help people kind of open up more and not be ashamed, of their mental health or not be ashamed to talk about it, then okay, I won. Because
Yeah.
I don't see the big deal of getting help. I don't see the big deal of, yeah, we're all whacked. You know what I mean? None of us are perfect. Honestly, none of us are perfect. Show me a perfect person, I'll show you a liar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the point of lying to ourselves? Because we have to love ourselves at some point, man.
Yeah.
Because if we don't love ourselves, then we can't love nobody else, and vice versa. All that motivational speaking shit. But it's the truth.
Yeah. Preach.
Yeah. So take what you are, embrace that mother, embrace it, embrace who you are, and get better. That's it. Try your best to get better and love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you ain't gonna love nobody else or let anyone love you. And that's what happened to me when I was younger. I didn't let nobody love me. I pushed people away because I was angry at the world. I was angry at myself. You know what I mean? And then, you talk to people, you see therapists, all this stuff, and you start to learn and slowly grasp things. Like Eddie Kingston is me at 17 years old, just turned up 1,000 notches.
Mm-hmm.
So pro wrestling to me is my therapy.
I think that's why it comes off so authentic
people
too.
have that. Thank you. Like, well, it is me just talking. Like, it's me. It's
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean? If I say I'm going to smack you in the face or do something, I'm probably going to do it.
I mean, the video you put out rides the line between Eddie Kingston, like the character, and the person. It's so real of what goes into this leading to Arthur Ashe. I just have a few more things for you. I know WWE pursued you as a coach for a while, and you had told Chris Jericho that you would feel unfulfilled if you had just like taken that coach job and not gotten your chance. After your career's over and you know that you're done out of the ring, could you see yourself going back into a coaching role or even perhaps commentary? I feel like you've been doing really well on commentary.
Oh, thank you.
Coaching, like you seem to have one of those brains that just is, you have a mind for the business.
I would definitely love to do commentary. I would love to agent. I would love to help younger talent. There's some young talent that doesn't listen, like I did when I was younger, and I would like to tell them it's not going to work out, man. Trust me, it's not. All this stuff that I like to tell the youngins, all this stuff today that you're fighting for, that you think is so important. I'm telling you, 2-3 years from now, you're going to look back at it and go, why did I even care?
Yeah.
Like I look at my career and like I said, calling the wrong people, like I said in the promo, calling the wrong wrestler on Mark. Next thing you know, he's a champion somewhere. And I'm like, well, not going there. Or telling a certain promoter, the F off and all this stuff. Well, not working there. And now I look back at it now and I go, that really wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I mean? I had to be all tough and street and, wasn't really that big of a deal now. And that's why I try to tell the younger guys, listen, shut up, and listen. Because everything you think is a big deal now, a lot of it, a good percentage of it, like 98% of it, later on, you're going to be like, why? What was the point? But, everyone has their own journey, man. I can only lead, my girlfriend thinks it's funny. I can only lead a horse to water. If they don't drink the water, then I got to drown it. It's not a good horse.
There was some discourse about Chikara that got I don't know, kind of toxic on Twitter recently, on social media. I saw you step up to kind of defend it and talk about why you and Bryce and so many people keep that company so near and dear. Do you want to expand upon that at all, or just talk about some of your favorite moments in Chikara?
Yeah, I'll expand on it. What got me was when people were saying I was trying to defend the actions of certain people in Chikara when I wasn't even there. I left years beforehand. My issue with the whole situation was we took that picture not to be like, hey, look at us now, F this, F that. No, we took that picture to show, hey, man, we stayed at it. You know what I mean? This is a celebration of us still working hard. Because we're not done. You know what I mean? And it wasn't about paydays. And see, I'm a big guy. I don't like it when people mention paydays on Twitter and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of that. You know what I mean? The business part should stay in the back. But it wasn't about that. And I hated the fact that Bryce had to defend himself on that post. Like, hey, it's a celebration of us. It's not a celebration, And then when I said something and someone said something, I was like, you know what, man? We got Queens coming up. You know what I mean? We're in my state, as I like to say. We're in New York. I got Queens coming up. I have me and my close friend Mox. closest friend Mox against Lance Archer and the legend Suzuki. You know what? I don't need this headache. Deactivate. That's the way I looked at it. You know what I mean? And then everyone's hitting me up like I died. I'm like, no, man, I'm good. Like I feel good.
Like Andy Dufresne and Shawshank. Like, God bless you. You got out, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was like, I'm done. At least, you know what? I don't know if I ever go back, but for at least this week, I wanted to focus, man. I didn't want any outside shit bothering me. I didn't want anything taking away my energy. I didn't want anything taken away from me trying to recoup and get ready for Queens. Because I feel like it's disrespect to Lance and to Suzuki and to Mox if I'm not 100% mentally there. It's disrespectful to all the guys in that match. And then it's disrespectful to New York and to Queens and to AEW. You see how it goes on and on and on. So I was like, I'm done. Just deactivate it. And I don't see the big deal. You know what I mean? I still got an Instagram. There you go. You can find the pictures there. You know what I mean? But I just didn't want to deal with his opinion. And everyone, look, my mother says it the best. Everybody, opinions are like assholes. Everyone got one, and they all stink. And that's it. That's why I deactivated it. I just didn't want to deal with it. You know what I mean? I wasn't sad. Nothing messed me up. I was just like, before it messes me up, let me get out. You know? And I remember the day all this Chikara stuff happened, Bryce called me. And it was really down and out. I don't know the whole stuff that happened because I stopped reading it. Because it was during that speaking out. And that hit my soul. The speaking out. Like all this stuff happening. And I was like, whoa. And it's during the pandemic. We're all at home. You know what I mean? It was like, oh man, what? You open your phone up, it's this person, that person, this person. And I knew some of the guys. I was close with some of the guys. And I'm like, what is going on here? I actually talked to some of the guys that were accused of stuff. And I told them, yo, get help. Get help. That's all I can tell you. Get help. And I hope they are. You know what I mean? They will never be back at wrestling, I don't think, but that's fine. At least get help for your future. You know what I mean? But anyway, I digress. But all that stuff was so mentally whatever. So I didn't read anything about what happened with Chikara. I just didn't read it. And Bryce called me and I said, look, man, at the end of the day, no one can take away what we did when we were there. No one can take away that we were in Palo Alto with 8 people in the audience. No one can take away that we were in Pittsburgh once. I don't know, Wall, PA, I think, where the venue was like a little house on a hill. And if it rained hard enough with all the mud, we would have probably slid down. And there was 12 people there. No one can take away that we busted, the guys who were there, busted their asses to get us on iPay-per-view to do high noon. No one can take away that we had 1,500 people in Eastern Pennsylvania for the comeback show. You know what I mean? The first, I don't want to exclude anybody, but to me, the first 3 classes of 4, we were the guys who built that place. You know what I mean? We didn't bring it down. That wasn't us. Most of us were gone. Or most of us didn't even know what was going on because we were traveling other places. But they can, no matter what happened, they can't take away what we did. You know what I mean? So that's where I look at Chikara. It's whatever happened when we were gone or behind closed doors is what happened. But what we did for that company and how we helped that company can't take away from us. Also, that company helped me. I got kicked out of my first wrestling school for arguing with my trainer about Eddie Gilbert and Kobashi because he didn't like him. Yeah. I was 20 years old. I was full of piss and vinegar. You know what I mean? I was still 1 foot in the street, iron working and pro wrestling. You know what I mean? I was an asshole. But
it sounds like you were right if you didn't like him.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? Right or wrong, I am what I am. But I remember that certain person emailing other schools telling them not to train me and my former partner, Blackjack and Jigsaw. Telling them not to train us because we're unprofessional or whatever. And Chikara said no. They already paid us, of course. And they said they're with us now. So yeah, of course I'm gonna have a special place. Because that happening, then I went and met certain people that got me to IWA Mid-South, that then got me to CZW, then got me here, then got me to Ring of Honor, then got me there, then and so on and so forth. So no, when I say he never messed with me on my pay, was because I asked him for more money. And when he said he couldn't, I left. And a lot of people are like, well, Eddie, you can do that. No, anybody can. Anybody can. You just have to have confidence in yourself that if they say no and you leave, then you can make it. If you don't have confidence in yourself, then sit there, shut up, take the shitty payday. That was what I was trying to convey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about that.
I appreciate you clearing it up. Sucks. Yeah, it's good to know that the way you deactivated your Twitter, I've seen people being like, "Oh my God, they really upset Eddie," and it's good to know that
no,
that before you got it.
Yeah, no, they didn't upset me. No one ran me off. I seen that, but my girlfriend was like, "You said number one, babe. You know that's not me." But no, it was just I wanted to be focused for Queens. You know what I mean? I wanted to be focused. That's it.
I got you, and I'm so excited for Queens. Eddie, thank you so much for the time. It's been really cool getting to talk to you. I've been a big fan for a while, and I can't wait to see you and Mox tear it up.
Thank you, man. Now I'm going to get me like some coffee and an energy drink and then try to lift weights without hurting my body. Folks, wrestling hurts after a while.